So the title of our program tonight is the Strength and Resiliency of the Honduran Community, okay? The work that we do, we try to build healthy, safe, sustainable communities. And we're going to try to point out some of the people who decided to remain, who work hard, who work every day, who have been working for years to build safe communities. Right? Is there something else you want to say about that?
You can pronounce that word for me.
Bienvenidos, okay? Bienvenidos a todos. Bueno, so usually when we do our high school thing, we do a whole geographical thing about where Honduras is. So, but as I said, I don't think I need to do that, except I wanted to tell you that we always go to San Pedro Sula. There's an airport there. It's the second largest city in the country. And then we travel more or less in this direction to about this area here. Our city's not on the map. It's called Yoro. Oftentimes people know different parts of Honduras because of the tourist trade there, all the cruises that stop there, but this is what we know, okay? These are the communities that we work with. Plan Grande is an indigenous community. The Tolapan people live there, and you have to have Tolapan blood in order to live in Plan Grande. San Jose is up in the mountains. It's like a 3-hour walk from Yoro, from the center of the town. And it's a coffee growing area. And so we work with people in both these communities. And this is the principal city. The Yoro is the capital of the department. And this is where we work, here in Yoro. And it's a city of about 90,000 people. But as you can see, this is the main calle, the main street. On both sides of this main street, there might be 3 or 4 paved streets that parallel this, and then the rest is country roads.
Dirt roads.
Dirt roads.
Bad dirt roads.
Okay, I think Jane took this picture, actually. This is the main park in the central plaza. In every Latin American city, there's always a plaza, and this is the main plaza in Yoro. Okay, this is the outside area, okay, and looking into the mountains. As I said, it's a coffee growing area. It's very, very green and fertile. Well, but it's very green, I guess, the soil. Well, Peter will talk more about the soil. I guess it's not so fertile. And this is the homes that are the people that live in this area. Very simple houses, very isolated, remote. Okay. And what Honduras Hope does? Honduras Hope is an organization out of Franconia, New Hampshire. It was founded by a retired pastor and his wife, and they've been working in Yoro, Honduras since 2001. They've been working in Latin America most of their lives, certainly all their adult life. And what we try to do is serve the people or work with the people in order to improve education, nutrition, health, and try to offer some economic opportunities for the people. Okay, so our main focus is on education. We have a small operating budget, and about 60 to 70% of that goes towards education. We have kids, we have programs in high school and post-secondary, but we're going to tell you more about that now. Peter's going to talk, I think, you're going to do the primary school, right?
So I think my philosophy is when you deal with impoverished people, that they're so impoverished that they really have trouble grasping so many of the basic skills of life. So I believe that you can teach them through the children. And so there are 2 primary schools in the communities that we work. This one happens to be on the reservation. The reservation was founded because they wanted to get the poor people out of the city. And so they gave them this plot of land, no electricity, the water's contaminated. It's an area that where nobody else wanted to live. And so we go to the schools, and one of the things that we've done, it's Honduras Hope community, is that we've tried to provide education. And what I do is I bring science equipment, and Kathy speaks Spanish, I struggle. And so we try to teach science lessons. And right now we're trying to do a STEAM curriculum. So we're trying to teach the teachers how to integrate science, technology, engineering, art, and math as a collaborative type of learning. And this is a balance that was donated by a university, and I don't think the teacher had ever seen a balance before. This is Walter. He's the principal of the school, and he's right here. They're doing a seed project. They're growing plants. This is a bottle biology project that we do, and we're teaching the kids here about composting. The soil has been completely eroded. It's no good. And so they've cut down the trees. The rain has taken away the soil. And so we're trying to teach how to make compost at the school. And of course, you can see that the children have you'll see later, the desks and books and supplies are very, very deficient. These are the teachers. The one in the middle is the kindergarten teacher. And then we'll get to the teachers, but those are the 5 teachers that teach in this 5-room school. Suasquela is a school here in Hingham. It's a bilingual school. They've been very supportive. We went to a presentation the other day at the community center, and wow, they're doing great things, but they send books. The children just raised money for a new printer for the school in Plan Grande, and the people, of course, the children are so excited to see us. We bring stuff. But Suasquela has been just very, very supportive. They also sent T-shirts and book bags, and we really appreciate it. At one point, and the kids appreciate it so much, at one point we had some difficulties in Honduras where the government had an election and it was rigged. And so there was a lot of violence and there was a lot of disruption. And so the kids weren't getting food from the government for lunches. And so Kathy and I, we went in and did our science experiments with seeds and so forth. And so one of the kids said, "Can we take some seeds home to plant?" We said, "Well, of course you can take seeds home to plant." And a couple of weeks later, the principal sent me a picture on Messenger of them remediating the soil. It was just rubble. If you've ever been to Central America, you know they throw everything everywhere and it just becomes rubble. And it was cleaned up and it looked like a garden. And when we arrived, I believe in November, we saw this. They'd planted their own food. We're talking about radishes, cucumbers, squash, and the women in the village were coming down and they were making stews from the vegetables to supplement the food that they weren't getting from the government. And you can see here that there was a pretty good harvest, an excellent harvest. One of the things that Gail used to work with me in the solar industry when I was selling solar hot water, and I believe in solar. And so we just got a grant from the Genesis Fund from the UCC Church, and we have put solar on the elementary school in Plan Grande. The day that the solar went on, the lights went on, the people in the community stood outside. They have no electricity in the whole community. They stood and applauded. And it was like a big, big deal. Right now, through Kiva, which is an organization, I guess out of Washington, D.C., that provides loans for people, they have provided loans for 14 families. And so 14 families now have invested in their own homes. They have electricity in their homes at different levels, but it kind of started with this grant. We also put solar in the community center, but this is very exciting for all of us. Kathy's going to talk about our secondary school program, and go ahead.
Okay. All right. All right, so as I said, part of what we want to do is talk about the people who stay there, who live there, and who are helping to build these communities. And we have what we call an education committee that work hard with the kids. Primary school up to 6th grade is public. And the kids, there's a primary school in both of our communities. So up to 6th grade, their education is taken care of. After 6th grade, even though high school is free, We figure it costs about $230, $240 to attend school every year, okay? They have to buy uniforms, they have to buy their own books, they have to buy their own supplies, and our families can't afford that. And so many of the kids wouldn't be able to go to school without our support. So we have about 60 kids that we help from 7th grade through high school. And then later on we'll talk about, we have some kids at the university level as well. This is the first day, their school year starts in February, the first week of February. So this would be the last week in January when we go down and we buy all these kids their shoes, their skirts, their blouses, their whatever, their gym clothes, everything that they need. There's like one decent department store in the town. We go there, we take over the store. And you have to understand that these are kids who probably, if they're a 7th grader, they're probably buying something that's brand new for the first time in their life. You know, that they always are wearing hand-me-downs or donated clothes. So for them to, and also I have to say, because they're indigenous, you know, there's prejudice, you know, and when they go into a store, they are, you know, people are watching them. They're watched every move they make. So they're nervous about going to the store. This is a new experience for them. And it turns out to be a great day. We have a wonderful time on that day. And the kids, you know, buy all their sneakers, everything that they need for school that day. So that's one of the great days of going. And this is what they look like after shopping. This is their school uniform. Some really cute kids. I'm going to talk in particular about Niños con Esperanza. This is our girls' empowerment program. Peter and I went down several times in the beginning, probably, you know, 18 months, and we would see these bright, energetic girls, curious, you know, just full of life. And we'd go down like the next time and then the following time, and we wouldn't see these kids anymore. They would be gone. And, you know, we learned that parents were taking their young girls out of school. Parents have only so much money, so many resources, and girls just don't need an education. You know, why does a girl have to be in school? So they take their girls out to either take care of their siblings or maybe to wash clothes for a wealthier family or middle-class family, maybe to make baleadas to sell on the streets. So we said, you know, we've got to change this. We've got to work with the community and change this. So we've started Niños con Esperanza, Girls with Hope. And we, girls from the 7th and 8th and 9th grade are involved in this program. The idea is to build self-esteem, self-value. We talk about gender discrimination, and we talk about violence. No más violencia a la mujer. I learned today, as I was preparing for this speech, that Honduras is one of the top 5 countries in the world with violence, with murders, femicide, murder against women. El Salvador and Honduras are in the top 5. So, and the problem is that violence against women, you know, it's like nobody bothers with it. It's not even a crime. You know, they don't even think, you know, to beat your wife, that's not a crime. You know, that's what happens. They find out the woman in Oxfam, the conference that I talked about at the beginning, the woman in Oxfam said that a woman in Honduras is killed every 9 hours. Now, I looked hard to try to verify that, and I couldn't verify it, but she's from Oxfam, so I'm going to, you know, think that she knows what she's talking about. And only 86% go without any investigation, that there is no, you know, there's no follow-up to find out what happened to these girls or to these women. And also they're saying that with the drug cartels, that the more harm you do to the woman, the better it is. Like they're trying to scare people. And so they're just not killing women, they're peeling them alive, they're, you know, mutilating them and throwing their different parts of their bodies in different parts of the city. So so we ask, you know, why are women and children coming to our country? You know, this is part of the reason why, you know. So we're talking about people who make change there, and these are 2 women who are our mentors. They run the Girls Empowerment Program. They're strong, enthusiastic, energetic women who have children of their own, and they are wonderful leaders for our girls. They take them places, do things with them, UNICEF is one of our partners in Convida, and these are 3 girls that are presently with us now. And this is another protest that they got involved in, and this is against child labor. And this is a very special project. Once a month, so these girls come from very, very, very poor families. They live in a place without any electricity. Their houses are huts, really. But once a month, they come to this nutrition center. This is a nutrition center for malnourished kids. Either the hospital will refer the kids to San Ives, or parents who know that their kids are dying, they'll take them here to San Ives with the hope that they can give them appropriate nutrition. So our girls come here once a month and work with the kids. They're making a fruit salad for the children. The children tend to stay there 2 years, 3 years. It's supposed to be temporary until they can get healthy. And then they go back with their parents. But here they are playing with some of the kids. And it's an incredible center, and we'll talk about it more when I show you the young man who runs this center. But these girls just love being here. And this is just a fun afternoon that the empowerment program has. You know, they're sitting around having a little charla, a conversation. This is up in the mountain, and just having fun. Girls having fun, and it's so nice to see them laugh and smile. It's sometimes hard to get in Honduras, especially a woman, to laugh. And so it's so good for me to see them having fun. Okay, do you want to do this? Or?
Sure.
Okay.
So we have a dormitory. Some of our children live in the mountains. It's a 3-hour walk up the mountain. I think we've said that before. If you take a car or a 4-wheel drive truck, it takes 1 hour and 10 minutes. It's really a road for the coffee growers to bring their coffee down and for logging. And so the children have school through the 6th grade. It's kind of called school because if the roads are muddy or the water or the weather's inclement, the teachers don't go. And so they come to a dormitory that we sponsor, that Honduras Hope sponsors, and they live at the dormitory in order to go to the 7th through the 12th grade. Honduras Hope pays for the dormitory. They buy all their books and clothing for school and so forth. And it's a real challenge. The house mother says, you know, when they come down, we have to teach them how to use the toilet. So you can imagine the kinds of homes that they come from, or houses that they come from in the mountains. This is Tonita, and she's been the house mother for how many years?
I don't know, since they built
years?
it. So, yeah, probably for 15 years, I would guess.
She's absolutely wonderful.
Talk about strength, huh? This woman is just incredible.
Here, some of our friends have given us computers, and I love to run little contests, and so it was a gardening contest, and we gave computers to the kids that had high achievement levels in the square foot garden programs. And this is the dormitory, or one of the rooms that the girls live in. This young woman here, Bessie, is new to our dormitory. She lived on the outskirts of Euro. She's a single mother. She has a 13-year-old daughter, and she didn't really have the resources to be able to support her daughter. They lived with her parents. She's come to the dorm, and she's taking care of the children during the week. Tonita takes care of the children on the weekends, or the students on the weekends, and she's just wonderful. It's good to have her. Her name is Bessie. These are some of the students, and Kathy, when they were growing their gardens, they had a lot of zucchini squash, so Kathy said, well, we're going to use my mother's recipe, and we're going to teach you how to make a zucchini stew. And so the kids are making stew with the vegetables that were grown in the garden. And here they're gathering cow manure. We believe in composting, and we do it with red wiggler worms. And these 3 young men, these 3 young men are just absolutely spectacular. This young man here, I kind of thought he was a slacker, and he has a problem with his spine. And I used to say, come on, let's go, let's go. And so he graduated from high school, And he's got a job with the government. He's teaching organic gardening to coffee farmers. It's like he was there, he was limited in what he could do, but he had learned a lot and had taken that experience and obviously impressed somebody so that he could work for the government and help coffee farmers. This young man here, if you have a problem with your Comcast and you make a call, you're calling a call center in San Pedro Sula. He's probably going to answer the phone. His name is Christian. He was in our dormitory too, and he works in San Pedro Sula now. He speaks very, very good English. This young lady's name is Suyapa. Go ahead.
Oh, Suyapa. Okay. Suyapa is a girl from the mountain village, okay? So she lives a 3-hour walk from the center of town. So what the kids used to have to do is they would walk 3 hours up the mountain, down the mountain, go to school, and then walk 3 hours back home. So somewhere around, before Peter and I were involved, somewhere around 2007 or 8, they built a dorm. And for the kids to come, and they live there Monday through Friday, so that they now live in the center of town where the school is. And Suyapa is one of the first people who came as a 7th grader. She lived there through 7th grade up to graduating from high school, and she remained and went to college, and she was an assistant to the dorm mother. And so when she graduated from college, she said to us, I have spent half my life in this dorm. That she was graduating at 24 years old. She came in there as a 12-year-old kid, and she spent half her life living in that dorm, taking care of that kids. So this is the same girl in her graduation. This is her high school graduation. She's in marketing, and she now is working in San Pedro Sula.
That's her college graduation.
This is her college graduation. Oh, did I say that? I'm
high
sorry.
school.
Oh, it is her college graduation. I'm so sorry. And this is the, can I talk about
Sure.
This is the woman who is the dorm mother. You may have recognized her. She is a leader in her community. She was running for the registrar, and she lost, but, the people, believe in her. She is a strong woman, and she fights hard for the people, and her neighbors recognize that, and they wanted her to run, so she did. Okay, so we sponsor about 60 kids to get a high school education, but we have kids who are talented, they're they're smart, they're ambitious, and so we now have about 20 kids that we give post-secondary help to. Some kids are in university programs, and some kids are just, in like maybe a 2-year tech program or a 2-year nursing program. But we do have several who are in the university level. And this girl right here, we're going to see her later. This is early in her college career, and we're going to show you a little bit later where she's at now.
So Kathy didn't tell you something that I think is very important, and that is when we first started to travel Honduras and she saw the little girls who weren't showing up for school and so forth, what had happened was they had become mothers at 14, 15 years old. The Girls Empowerment Program has changed that. And so those mentors have a strong influence, but Kathy goes and speaks to the parents. And she says, your child can have an opportunity here. And we're going to make sure that if they stay in school, we're going to provide those kinds of opportunities. So it's...
well, you talk
go
about
ahead.
Laura.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
This is Laura Martinez. She grew up in, without much, in the same kind of conditions as the rest of the community that you saw. And there is a middle class in the town that we're at. There is a middle class. There are people with, computers and electricity and televisions. She didn't have those things, but she ended up valedictorian of her high school. So that, and she's on to university at college, and she's studying to become a doctor. Yeah. This is one of my favorite people, my favorite stories. This is Rosa. When we first met Rosa, she was a mother. She had a young daughter. Well, I guess her daughter was in middle school or so at that time. And she hadn't gotten an education herself, but she was in a radio program. She decided she wanted to get her high school diploma through a radio program in Honduras Hope. supported her in that. And then when she graduated from high school, from the radio program, she decided she wanted to go into nursing school. So she went into a 2-year program, and now she's a nurse. And so this is Rosa and Noe. Noe did the more traditional path. He went through the regular high school and then went on to nursing program. But Rosa is, you're going to see many pictures of Rosa because we use her. She's a real force, and she's involved in many of our programs. And Rosa's now our nurse in one of the communities. She does health checks once a week and visits the families and takes the weight of the kids and watches for malnourishment. And she's really become quite the person in the community. So that other woman that I said, we're going to talk about her later, she's in her last year of medical school. She's going to graduate in the fall, Cece. Yeah. And what is she going to say? Neurology?
Neurology.
Neurology. And this is Cesar. Cesar is now working for us. He was someone who received scholarship from us through his high school years and his college years. And he studied English, and he is now our in-country coordinator. He works part-time for us and part-time for another organization. But he uses his English, and he is a very bright guy and doing wonderful work and so sincere, lots of integrity. So this is one of our education meetings. We have a committee, and we're going to see some of those women that are part of this committee in a few minutes. But every time we go in January, before the school year starts, we always have a meeting of the education group, of the kids who are going to be receiving scholarships. And this is Anita. I'll tell you, this woman, if her circumstances would be any different, she'd be, the CEO of some successful company. She has so much power, so much determination, so much, she's a very intelligent woman. She knows how to handle all kinds of situations. She is one of one of the most powerful women that we know. That I know personally, really. I mean, she is just, with the little she has, she is just a force to reckon with. And here she's interviewing one of the girls who's looking for a scholarship from us.
So she's really in charge of the education committee. She's a kindergarten teacher. She's going to college to get her degree. She's in charge of the patronato. You want to talk about strength in a person? It's just incredible.
And this is Francesca, another one of our education committee people, also interviewing students. These two women have carried this education committee for 10 years at least, and it's their strength and their determination, their dedication, that it really keeps it going.
What they're doing is they're interviewing the students and asking them what their goals are. What was your attendance like last year? What's your attendance going to be this year? What are your goals for this year? What do you need? Did you do your homework last year? How do we get you to do more homework? We think it's important that you be accountable. And, if you don't pass, we're going to take a good look at you and maybe not support you because other kids may want to be supported. So it's very healthy way to approach the school year. This is Bill Briggs. He's the person who started Honduras Hope. We have a dorm meeting, and so we're sitting outside having a conversation about the beginning of the school year. So one community was the community that we just showed, and this right here are the children that are coming from the mountains, and they're living at the dormitory. So as I said, our biggest focus is on education, but we do other things too, okay? We have nutrition and health programs, and this is part of our nutrition program. The children who are under 5 years old, they get 3 lunches a week. We supply the food, and the mothers in the community make the lunches and serve the kids 3 times a week. And these women have worked, we have another picture of them later, so we'll talk more about them. But this is one of the kitchens. It's up in the mountain side, up in the coffee growing area. And this is their kitchen. This is where they produce the food. So we don't have a photograph of what this nutrition center is going to become, but tomorrow we're meeting with a solar guy who lives in Lowell, who also owns the company in Honduras, and we're going to give him the okay to put a solar system on this little shack, and they're going to get a refrigerator. And so we're going to provide a 8 cubic foot refrigerator so that when they buy chicken or beef, they can store it. When they go down to the town, they can store it with refrigeration. And that's going to happen within 10 days, I would guess.
Well, outside that kitchen area that we just saw, we have bought some picnic benches. And so the kids, instead of taking this food home, where we're not sure whether the kids are really getting the food or not, we now have them sit there and eat right there at the nutrition center. So this is one of the lunches that they would get from us. These are the women who run the nutrition center. And again, Rosa is one of the women, Lupe, Rosibel, and I forget the other woman's name. But they go every 3 times a week and make this lunch and make sure these kids get fed. And this is, again, the group out in front of the kitchen.
That's it. That's the nutrition center right there.
That's the nutrition center.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about water. Water is a problem in Honduras. It's contaminated. The animals come and they leave their feces in the water. The water comes through a stream or a pipe. And when the children drink that or the adults drink it, they obviously have dysentery and all kinds of issues with their digestive system. So one of the things that we did, actually, Elliot's stepbrother, told me about this person named Philip Wilson who makes water filters in Guatemala, and he hooked us up, and we now have a filtering program. And what we do is bring the filters to the school, teach the children that they're going to drink water, fresh, clean water, filtered water every day. And we're trying to get the parents to understand that that's an important part of their health. When Rosa sends her report through Cesar every week, it's like these stomach problems all the time. It's coming from the contaminated water. And so unless the water is filtered, they don't have a chance. And so we have videotapes from this company, and here we're showing the children, I'm showing the children about the filtering of the water. So I'm pouring a cup of water, and I gave it to a kid to drink. And Kathy says, no, you drink it.
Well, the kid wouldn't take it, right? The kids wouldn't take the water from
I said, okay.
I said, Peter, you drink it, you drink it.
We could try that. And here, the kids are putting the water into the filter. It produces about a liter of water an hour. And now each child has their own cup. And so the cups are reused. And we ask the children to drink at school 12 ounces of water a day. Kidney issues are a big time problem in developing countries, and it's because they don't drink enough water. If you're drinking the water and you're getting sick, you probably stop drinking the water. The alternative, Coke, is not a good one. And so here's where we're trying to make an impact through the children to help their parents understand the importance. This young man is Christian. He's the one that works at the Comcast call center. He was my amigo because he did all the translating for me when I was trying to make my way around the villages and so forth. He's got real leadership skills. We're very proud of the direction that he's now going in. Go ahead.
So up in the mountain village, we built a clinic in order to give the people, some medical attention, because, as I said, most of the people don't have cars, or maybe a few people may have motorcycles, but the vast majority don't have any transportation down the mountain, and it would be a 3-hour walk. So this is, again, before we were involved. A clinic was built up there in the top of the mountain. And these are the ladies, these are the mothers, the families waiting to see the nurse. And I think we have a picture of the nurse next, right? That's our nurse, Vilma. That's, as you can see, the clinic is rather modest, and but she, how many people does she see a day or a week? What
35 people a day.
Yeah.
From different villages as well. They come from different villages to get support.
And there's Rosa again. She's doing one of her health checks out. Now this is in the community that's nearer the center of town. So she goes and visits the families.
So here we go, organic gardening. So I know it's an uh-oh. So everything from my view in Honduras is poison. They use harsh chemicals, pesticides, herbicides. You see the kids riding up the mountain on a horse with a blue tank on your back, and you know what that is. Those are
Roundup.
Yeah, that's Roundup.
Roundup, that's what they have.
The feed stores have big signs on the walls, and it's all about Roundup. And so we're trying here to teach the children how to do organic gardening, to make compost. Whoops. This is compost right here, and you can see they have red wiggler worms. These are the gardens. We're growing melons and tomatoes and squash in the gardens. This is at the dorm. I call the dorm the laboratory. So those are the kids that I first had a chance to work with, and so we created that concept there. Square foot gardening is a process where you don't use soil. You use compost, vermiculite, and peat moss. We don't have peat moss and we don't have vermiculite in Honduras. Sometimes we use a little coconut core, but it's basically trying to use as much compost in those square foot gardens as possible. And this young man's name is Junior. He's one of our dorm people. And before they left for vacation in December, I gave him $50. I said, I want you to go to your village. I want you to teach young children how to garden. And so they're on break. He's working in the coffee fields probably 6 days a week. But here he is directing the children how to make the square foot gardens, and there are the vegetables. And so now the process is to teach them how to use those greens, put them in their daily diet to get micronutrients. Because when they're eating rice, beans, and corn, they're getting macronutrients, but they're not getting the minerals that they need. And so you take a young man like this, and he teaches those children, and they bring the food home to their parents, and we now have a possible change in attitude or lifestyle. He's a wonderful young man. This, Annalie, what's this called? Moringa. Okay, so moringa has, it's a wild kind of plant. It has 7 times the vitamin C of an orange, 4 times of that of calcium, 4 times the vitamin A, more K than bananas, protein. And so we're struggling. We had some growing at the dorm, and some little children came and they pulled them up. They thought that was cute. And so it hasn't happened. But I do have a person who raises pigs, and he's making compost, and he's going to be putting moringa plants into the compost, and we're going to try to start up again. I really believe that sometimes if you take a leader in the community, somebody who's kind of made it, and you can get that person involved in a program like this, and he's been to our gardens, he likes what is going on, we're going to try again. But this particular moringa plant was in the garden. We had army ants next to the dorm. In one night, it was defoliated. Bang. And we could have taken care of that if I had been there, if I had known that was going to happen organically, but I wasn't there and it was defoliated. And of course, you always go there and you take 2 steps forward and then you take a step back. And then the next time you go, you take 2 steps forward again and we see what happens. Zika isn't so prevalent right now because they're using DDT all over the place to kill the mosquitoes, but Zika can be controlled with plants. So if these plants are grown around the house or in the house, they give off an odor and the mosquitoes won't come in. These people don't have screens, they don't have doors, doors that you close and so forth, screens. And so we're teaching the children how to make these particular plants, put them in the homes of especially pregnant women, because that's where the real cost of Zika is. But that's a project that we took a couple steps forward. Now we've taken a step back, but we'll just keep on going. Go ahead. This is interesting.
All right. Well, this is the Women's Cooperative. It's has been a women's cooperative most of the time that we've been involved, but it is transitioning into a women's business. So I just want to say there's a Chinese proverb: if you educate a man, you educate a person. If you educate a woman, you educate a community. And we are using that. Isn't that true, right? Saying it to the right crowd. And we're feeling that way about economics. When women have some economic stability, the money goes to feeding their family, for providing education for their family, for providing stable homes for their family. And so, you know, we're educating the children, but what about the mothers? What about the older women? Is it too late for them? Is there a way we can help them as well? And so we're doing this through basket making. Our women are, as I said before, Tolopan Indian people, and pine needle basket making is a tradition of the Tolopan people. But our women they've lost a lot of their traditions. You don't ever, in Honduras, you don't see people walking around in like traditional garb. Nobody speaks Tolopan language. In our area, there are some people who do in different parts of Honduras, but not in our area. So they've lost a lot of contact with their traditions. So we brought in some people from another area to teach our women.
No, you brought.
Okay, so we brought women in, and we worked with these women, and they worked with our women, and they taught them how to make pine needle baskets. And it's becoming quite a good source of income for them. Every time I go, why don't we show some pictures of, these are the women who make the baskets? Okay, these are, again, Rosa's always teachers in front. Rosa's the woman who organizes this. Rosibel, the one next to her, is the one who's really trying to make this a business. She's really working hard to try to sell more and more. Actually, is this that basket? Oh yes, that's this basket, isn't it? No, it's a little different. Anyway, so I buy each time almost 100 or more of baskets. I bring them home, and we sell them to friends and family. Many of you have them, and but also I'm going to give a pitch for two stores. Joy in Situate Harbor, she buys our baskets from us, and the Gift Garden in East Milton, they also buy the baskets from us, and they've been selling them for 3 years now, I think. And they're going off to market to sell their baskets at the local fairs, but they're now also selling them in Honduras in Copan, which is a big tourist center. So they're starting to buy baskets for us. So we're hoping that this is going to be the birth of a business for these women and give them that economic stability that they need. Okay. And so we wanted to highlight, because we're trying to introduce you to the people who are working hard in the communities that we're involved with. So do you want to talk about who each of these people are? I mean, each of these people have come up during the program.
So on the right is Cesar, former student that we scholarship, now in country coordinator, making a huge difference, building leadership skills, which are just incredible. Why don't you go to the next one?
Oh, well, this is Tonita, okay? Tonita, the dorm mother, the rock in that dorm, and she's incredible. Every time I go, she looks younger and younger. She's incredible. I say, Tonita, how can you look so young all the time? She just is this incredible, beautiful woman.
This is Bill Briggs. He started Honduras Hope, and with him is Velma. She's the nurse, and she gets it. She gets the water filtration. She understands the composting. She understands the micronutrients. She's a real force.
And that's Suyapa, the girl that we talked about earlier, who spent half her life in the dorm. She's now, as I say, working in a store in San Pedro Sula.
This is the leadership group from the reservation, the Patronato mixed with some gringos.
Yeah. Oh, you're not going to say who they are. You're going to say Bill and Susie. So Bill's the one who started it. He's the former pastor who started it with his wife. This is his wife, Susie. And this is Anita, who you've met throughout the program, and Cesar, and other people that are very important to the development of our programs.
So over on the right are two teachers, Edgar and Walter. Walter's the principal of the school. They now send me pictures through Messenger once a week. It's incredible to watch the kinds of things that they're doing, and we're very excited to see them this next time.
This is Adonai. He's another teacher at the school, very, very strong, popular character, fun to be with, and he's the one with all the energy. He's wonderful.
This is Rosa right here. She's the head of the Patronato up in the village, and she just put on a $3,600 solar system on her pulperia, on her grocery store, and she has a 12 cubic foot refrigerator freezer, and she's done it all through Kiva, and she says that she's doubled her business because nobody had ever had anything cold up there before that, and she's a force that is really showing that entrepreneurship is a strength, and that she's going to do it. She's got the will of steel. And then Anita in the bottom.
These are people who are friends of the community. Okay, they don't live in the communities where we work, but they live and work in Yoro, and they become friends of ours. And this is Nacho. Nacho is he has a chicken restaurant. He also has a pig farm, and he's the one who's working with Peter for the moringa.
Right, growing the moringa. And then down here, down here, go ahead. You've got to talk about.
Well, let me talk about.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead. Yeah.
All right. This is a lawyer for the human rights lawyer. She was very, very important to us in the initiation of the Girls Empowerment Program. She, worked with us to develop it according to like the standards of international agreement, and making sure that we were within the human rights standards. And she's just been a help to us all along. She's incredible help. Can I talk about Patrick?
You can talk about Patrick.
So we have a gringo here. This boy, Patrick, he comes from Missouri. He got out of school, graduated from college, didn't know what he wanted to do. His high school had a program in Honduras. He said he never went as a high school student, but he said, I think I'll go down. I know they have an orphanage down there that they support. I'm going to go down. Didn't have any medical training behind him, no social work behind him, no nutrition, I don't know what he actually majored in college, but nothing that would be helping him here. And he came down, and he's the man right now who's behind that nutrition center for children. When he came, that nutrition center was neglected. It was surviving because the high school back in Missouri, they had a trust, and they were sending so much money per year. I don't know how much it was, but it was enough to keep it limping along. But people in the community were not taking care of it. They were saying that, it was dirty. It was just totally neglected. The people who worked there didn't have any desire to be there. There was no energy there. He came down as this college graduate, and turned the place around. It is clean. It is neat. It has doctors there, nurses there, caretakers all the time. Pictures of Disney characters all around, cribs. He's got the swing set outside. This one young man has made such a difference in so many people's lives. And he keeps saying, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know. I said, well, whatever it is, you're doing it right, because it's just a miracle what he has done.
This at the bottom here is Leonardo, and he is a hen farmer. He has an egg factory. And he also now is teaching people in the community how to be entrepreneurs. He was an engineer. He was working in Tegucigalpa. As he looked at his career, he realized that international people were coming in and taking his position, and he was never taking any movement forward. He was never getting advanced. Here he is teaching the children about water filtration at the elementary school. He is a force. He's working with the Women's Cooperative and teaching them entrepreneurial skills. He's a real leader, somebody that we're very happy to know. Okay, and these are the women of the empowerment program.
Karen and Carmen are the strengths of the program. Mariela used to be with the empowerment program. Sadly, she left. She came to the United States, got captured at the border, her and her daughter. She talks about spending like a week on that, the frozen, the cold, cement pavement, cement floor that without any blankets, without any mattress, whatever. She had to wear an ankle bracelet for the time she was here. She had an aunt who finally came for her, and they released her and her child to her aunt. She worked with her aunt, cleaned houses for a while, but she was told what it would cost for her to get a lawyer to seek asylum, and they told her her chances were very, very limited. Why she left Honduras? It was due to her boss was making sexual advances towards her, and she got frightened, and she decided she had to leave. In the end, she decided to go back. She did voluntary deportation. Went back to Honduras, and she's now again working with us. She works with the kids in the dormitory. She's their computer teacher, but she's also their mentor, and she does, what else does she do, Peter? She's just a wonderful, wonderful woman. So we are just so lucky to have these three women working with us and part of our program.
So we want our leadership team to have computer skills. She has computer skills. So although she works at the dormitory, works with the children, she's going to be teaching them how to use computers so that they become technologically literate. And so they'll be able to communicate with us. And of course, that's important for us, but it's also important for them.
We're at the end. So I just want to mention this one woman because we haven't really highlighted her, but she's the woman behind the nutrition program up in the mountain village. And she's just a strong, strong woman, a hard worker.
And that's what it's all about, isn't it?